Trustee Guillen, is there any report of action taken in the closed session?
Yes, there is, Mr. President. At tonight's closed session, the board voted to the following appointments, and all the votes were 6 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 abstains. And unfortunately, Trustee Riley was absent, so all the votes were 6-0-0-1. Trustee Riley being absent. Recommendation to appoint Luis Escobar as Director of Student Activities and Campus Life, College of Alameda, effective October 21st, 2013 through June 30, 2015, an annual salary of $90,000. Recommendation to appoint Tomoko Raudebush as Director of Student Activities and Campus Life, Laney College, effective October 14, 2013 through June 30, 2015, annual salary $90,000. Recommendation to appoint Lasana Hotep as Director of Student Activities and Campus Life, Merritt College, effective October 28, 2013 through June 30, 2015, an annual salary of $95,000. Recommendation to appoint Susan Wren as Interim Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administration, effective October 9, 2013 through June 30, 2014, or until position is filled, whichever occurs first, annual salary of $150,000. Recommendation to appoint Sue Song as Interim Budget Director, effective October 9th, 2013 through June 30, 2014, annual salary $90,000. Recommendation to ratify the Chancellor's decision to extend the interim appointment of Josefina Baltonado as Interim Vice President of Student Services, Laney College, effective October 1, 2013 through November 15, 2013, annual salary $135,000. Recommendation to ratify the Chancellor's decision to extend the interim appointment of Jason Harvey as Interim Director of Student Activities and Campus Life, effective September 25th, 2013 through October 8th, 2013, annual salary $90,000. If these individuals are present, please stand so that we can welcome you into your new positions. And Mr. President, that concludes the closed session readout for this evening.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. President, I move to approve the agenda with the exception of item number 6 and number 24. I'd like to move the agenda forward.
What would you like to do with item 24? You're pulling
Sorry, number 6 and number 24, we would like not to include, with the Chancellor's recommendation, not to include those items.
All right.
And number 6 is the presentation on purchasing policy and law. Number 24 is consider approval to enter into an agreement with Anthonio Inc. for Division of State Architect Certified Inspection Services, et cetera. So move the agenda with the exception of those 2 items.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to actually move those? I don't believe so. We haven't done in the past, so let's just part of the approval process of the agenda. We're moving those 2 items. Are there any other changes or modifications to the agenda?
Nope.
Are there any items to be pulled from the consent calendar? This is the time to pull them. All right, none pulled. Thank you. I'll call for the question on
Need a
approval.
second.
I believe we have a second on it. Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposition, abstentions, motion carries.
Just for the record, who was the second on the approval of the agenda?
I
Thank you,
thought Bill
trustee.
Withrow.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, Trustee Withrow. All right, is there a move to approve the minutes? These are the minutes of September 24th, 2013. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded. All those in discussion or all those in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Nays? The motion passes unanimously. Are there any members of the public that wish to
I have
communicate?
4 speaker cards, Mr. President. The first speaker is Romeo Garcia, followed by Mark Wilson, and then a couple of other speaker cards after that.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Romeo Garcia. I'm the Executive Director of the Peralta Colleges Foundation, and it's a pleasure to be here This evening. Started out very early this morning with a meeting, and I'd like to thank our college presidents for the wonderful meeting we had this morning to bring our conversations together in terms of how the foundation can help to support the mission of each of the college presidents and then overall the entire district. This evening I wanted to provide some updates on what's happening at the foundation. The first is to announce something very exciting. October 1st, just a week ago, was the deadline for scholarships for students to apply, as well as the deadline for faculty awards. And for those in the public who may not know, that the foundation provides scholarships to students throughout the district, as well as grants to faculty to help support what they are doing in their courses to enhance the experience that our students are having. This time last year, there were 38 applications for student scholarships. This time, at this point, we received 435 applications for students' scholarships this year. And that's the type of problem that I announced last spring that I wanted to have. And that is to be able to go out to the funding community and let them know that we have a tremendous need here at the Peralta colleges for support for our students in providing scholarships. This certainly didn't happen by the work of the foundation alone. We received a lot of support from faculty. One of our students in our new scholars program announced that in each of her classes, the faculty members really encouraged students to apply for the scholarship. So the word has gone out to faculty that scholarships are available. We'd like to thank all of the staff who also supported us in getting the word out, the various coordinators on the different campuses. And I also want to thank all of the student leadership groups who have helped the foundation to get the word out to their peers. Because without this joint effort, both the work of the foundation and the district community, we would not have been successful in having this record number of scholarship applications. Now the work starts for Michael Mills, who is a retired faculty member, and the group of readers that he has assembled to go ahead and read. Maybe he thought he would be reading about 50, and so there's quite a few more than that, and he's had to reach out to more of his friends to be able to read the scholarships so that we can get applications, so that we can get them out to the students. So connected to that is the announcement again of our annual scholarship dinner, which is happening on November 21st at Scott's Seafood Restaurant in Oakland. This year, we will be honoring Merritt College alumnus Joe Morgan, Hall of Fame baseball player, and he has accepted the invitation to be honored, to be our inaugural foundation alumni honoree. We will also be honoring the Clorox Company for their support of education in Oakland, K-12. I was told very directly by the vice president that I met with, now Romeo, you know we don't fund college. I said, well, I understand that, but we're here to really recognize the work that you've done to help prepare students that do come to the Peralta colleges to have their experience here. So they will also be honored. I just returned from a conference in Southern California, the CASE conference, and I heard over and over and over again the important role that college presidents play, that board members play, that trustees play in helping to make sure that we can marshal the kind of support from our larger community in helping us to reach out to those individuals who might be able to come to our event. So in advance, I'd like to thank those of you who will assist us in reaching out to various funders throughout the community, and to those who have already helped in responding to calls that we've had, because coming directly from you, the impact can be even greater, because if I call, which I will do the follow-up calls, they're just maybe meeting me for the first time, but we're really relying on you to help us to reach out to the funding community so that we can raise the money that we need to make sure our students get the kind of support that they deserve. So thank you very much.
Next speaker, Mr. President, is Mark Wilson. And I understand Mr. Wilson has a couple of other speakers for Mr. Chavez and Mr. Terry. So,
Good evening. My name is Mark Wilson. I'm a student at Laney College. And I just wanted to check in. It's been over a year since I came to you and discussed financial aid. Waiting months for my pre-approved federal financial aid each semester, this is my 4th year now, has cost me my relationship, my housing, and all my personal possessions. 2 weeks ago, my computers, textbooks, and clothes were all sold for storage fees. I've been working the past 2 years to improve the financial aid process so future students won't have to go through this. Former ASLC president and student trustee Brian Cervantes encouraged me to stay in school and work towards change. He invited me to join the new Peralta Student Council to continue that work. Currently, I'm the student representative on the Financial Aid Solutions Project Steering Committee and the District Education Committee. Next fall, if all goes according to plan, Peralta Student Financial Aid should be fully automated. 2 weeks ago, I sent a letter to administrators across the district asking about district policy regarding IT security. I asked if the district has a policy regarding former employees and their entering district property, using district computers, accessing the district database, and retaining district email and prompt accounts and passwords. If they can do that, it would be a serious FERPA violation. I also learned at a FAS Project FitGap meeting, that's how they talk over there at IT, that college has never been able to check transfer students' prerequisites or calculate total number of completed units until the student applies for graduation. Any or all of these threaten the college's accreditation. I got no replies. Recently, I found out that my BOG, AC Transit, Health, and Campus fee waivers for spring 2013 were all reversed on September 17th. Instead of the $60 that I owe for this semester, I owed over $800. I went to the supervisor of financial aid at Laney and asked what happened. He couldn't see who did it, but he said it was wrong and reversed it. He told me I had to go to the district to fix the other fee waivers. The new director of financial aid told me he couldn't see who did it either, but it had to be somebody above his office at financial aid, and that only someone above him could fix those reversed fees. Since Vice Chancellor Orkin approved my fee waivers last spring, I went to see him. He told me that the new Associate Vice Chancellor has decided that fee waivers will not be available anymore. And he said he probably can't reverse the reversal. I asked about the new policies and procedures, and he told me there isn't any, that they have to go to the board and get them changed. Students have been working for years to create an effective way of, quote, involving students in the policy development process, unquote. Former student trustee Rich Copenhagen encouraged the Board of Trustees to expand their policy regarding student governments to allow the creation of a district-wide student council. Student trustees Cervantes and Clegg brought all 4 ASs together a year ago to form the Peralta Student Council. In the first year, we worked to improve financial aid and identified a lack of advisors as a fundamental problem for all the student governments. Tonight, that work has culminated in the hiring of 3 more directors of student leadership and campus life. They will help create an environment where students can learn by participating in governance and develop leadership skills. Trustee Clegg, several students, and I spent last summer organizing the 4-day PSC Leadership Retreat. After trying for months to get the funds allocated in the spring by all 4 ASs, and the Chancellor deciding not to support us financially, the PSC's funds were seized just days before our retreat. We were told that the process for spending student funds is being changed. I requested that new policy and procedures at that time over 2 months ago. Repeated requests have gotten nowhere. Last week, I was told by Laney's VP of Student Services that the new procedures are still being created. Currently, several ASs are having trouble accessing their monies. We're already halfway through the semester. They're being told that the process is being changed. On September 12th, the Chancellor delivered a letter to the Peralta Student Council. I hope you're all familiar with it. Without consulting the student trustees or PSC members, he's requesting that the PSC Constitution be rewritten. Student trustees serve on district-wide councils in Los Rios and Los Angeles CCDs. I don't understand how the student trustee serving on the PSC threatens our accreditation. The Chancellor has also removed the student trustees from the PBIM committees. The student trustee page on the district website explicitly states that, quote, "the student trustees can also serve on district-wide committees as the student representative," unquote. I understand that there are differing opinions on the roles and status of the student trustees. Either way, shouldn't they be included in the, quote, "consultation process," as the CCLC handbook requires, and have a right to, quote, "participate effectively in district and college governance," as the Ed Code requires? On September 13th, the ASCOA voted no confidence against one of our student trustees without any communication beforehand. I can understand students being frustrated and making a dramatic statement. That's my laugh line. But for even a temporary advisor to advise this without any consultation is really hard to understand. According to the students involved, the resolution was then kept secret from the trustee so that she would still room with the president of the ASCOA in Washington, D.C. during the Congressional Black Caucus. Those students also told us that the president of the COA and the chancellor were aware of the situation at the time. The CCLC trustee handbook says explicitly that there should be, quote, "no surprises," unquote. If student trustees are to be treated as regular trustees, and thus forbidden to chair the PSC or sit on PBIM committees, shouldn't they be treated with the same respect as the other trustees? My time's limited, but I suggest the board invite other student leaders to present their concerns about all these changes that are taking place. Without board policies to support these new procedures that haven't yet been written, we students are finding it impossible to figure out what procedures and policies we should follow. I have written letters documenting each of the concerns I touched on tonight, and Trustee Clay can furnish you with those documents. Thank you.
That concludes the speakers for this evening. And just to clarify, Mr. Wilson had, for the record, cards turned in by Mr. Justin Terry and Edward Chavez is why he was allotted a total of 12 minutes.
All right, thank you. And at this point, we'll have reports from members of the Associated Students Governance.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes.
Without addressing the substance of the last speaker, I would request that the Chancellor report to the board on the substance of the fairly serious allegations that he's made. Now, if in fact the allegations are correct, that there's a serious problem going on, and I don't want to address that question, but if the Chancellor could get back to the board regarding the matter, I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
At this point, would the student representatives please come forward?
Good evening. My name is Danny McCarty. I'm a student at Berkeley City College, currently serving as a member of the Judicial Council. I want to thank all of the trustees, college presidents, the chancellor, and other participating members of the board, as well as the public, for allowing me to speak this evening. Recently, at a shared governance roundtable meeting, members of the Associated Student Council met with academic Senate members Cleavon Smith and Adon Almeida and brainstormed strategies for a student success initiative. This is part of BCC's effort to abide by the mandates of the statewide initiative in a way that promotes on-campus student engagement while simultaneously providing student success evaluations from the perspective of the students. The main overarching objective here is to strengthen the sense of community among the students. At the previous ASC meeting, we also approved a revised version of the ASC bylaws. This new version includes clauses that will begin to facilitate how the senators can effectively carry out their respective responsibilities, and it also provides a detailed outline for appointing senatorial duties to the various programs offered on campus to ensure that the student government representatives are active and engaged in their roles. With the accreditation review approaching in 2015, our student government president, Calderon, is currently working with the ASC to develop active participation in accreditation committees. This provides an opportunity for our student government participants to be engaged in this important process and will ensure that our schools report is supported by the perspective of the students. A few quick announcements with clubs. The Global Studies Club hosted a talk in the atrium with guest speaker Daniel Ellsberg, highlighting the justices of whistleblowing and the importance for an active and informed public. This event had an extremely successful turnout and gave students a chance to learn from a renowned academic on the importance of an informed public. In addition, the Global Studies Club hosted an open mic exhibition in the atrium for the war in Syria, encouraging students and faculty alike to speak their thoughts and opinions regarding this issue. This was a forum that created an environment for discussion among students, thus integrating a sense of community and healthy debate in the heart of the campus. The Civic Engagement Club will be holding their annual blood drive event on October 15th and 16th in the basement floor in rooms 51 and 57. This is an outstanding opportunity for students, faculty, and anyone else who wishes to contribute to directly give back to the community. In addition, I would like to commend the Gay Straight Alliance for proactively branching out into the community. They have recently been awarded a donation by the Berkeley Law School Queer Caucus of $250. And this really sets an example that encourages our clubs to seek out available resources for the improvement of club functions. Really quick, the Berkeley City College will be sending 6 students to the General Assembly to represent our college at this assembly. And before I finish, I speak on behalf of the entire ASC that we invite any of those wishing to attend our regular meetings. They're held Wednesdays at 12 o'clock noon at BCC's campus. The address is 2050 Center Street, Berkeley. Without further ado, your associate students of Berkeley City College.
I'd like to thank Danny McCarty for that excellent report. My name is Valentino Calderon. I'm the president of Berkeley City College, and I'm an electrical engineering and computer science major.
Hello, everyone. My name is Thais Da Costa, and I'm the vice president of administration of Berkeley City College Student Government. And thank you for having us, and thank you for your great work. Thank you.
My name is Justin Terry. I'm the Vice President of Programs, and I also chair the Interclub Council, and I would like to thank the trustees for allowing us to come to their meeting and do these reports.
Hi everyone, my name is Doris Cuellar. I'm the Communications Officer at the ASPCC, and my major is Industrial Design, and I want to thank you all for having us here.
Hello, my name is Malik El-Hindi. I'm the ASPCC Treasurer, and it's nice to see you all. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gabby Patiernos, and I am the ASPCC Secretary, and I plan on pursuing political science and Southeast Asian studies.
Good night, everyone. My name is Destiny Reed. This is my second semester at BCC, and I'm a PR8 major. Oh, and I'm also a senator.
Good evening. My name is Miles Campbell. I'm a senator of the ASPCC, and my intended major is business administration. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manling Zhuo. I'm a senator of ASBCC, and my intended major is international studies. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nate Heller. I'm an ASBCC senator, and I intend to study cognitive science.
Hi, I hope everyone's having a good night. My name is Sarah Miller. I'm a senator at ASBCC, and I intend to pursue political science. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hassan Moore. I am the Chief Justice of the Judicial Council at Berkeley City College, and I am an Administration of Justice major.
Good evening. My name is Jewel Soriano, member of the Judicial Council of BCC, and my intended major is rhetoric. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lanfu Zhang. I'm a justice in the student government at SPCC, and my intended major is business admin.
Good evening. My name is Cassandra Christmas. I'm a second-year student at BCC, and my major is political science. I'm a member of the Judicial Council. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Edward Chavez. I'm secretary for the Associated Students of Laney College. And just to kind of fill you all in on what we're working on right now, we're trying really hard to maintain a close relationship with all the clubs on campus, as well as the learning community, so that we could keep students updated with everything that's going on. And I'd also like to say congratulations to Tomoko on her new position, and we're really, really looking forward to working with her. She's always been helpful to students at Laney, and I'm sure will continue to do that. So we have a couple events coming up. We've been hosting a movie series, which began 2 weeks ago, and that's going to hopefully something that we keep doing like once a month. We're working with the theater department on that. So yeah, we're trying to collaborate with organizations on campus for our events. Another one is the art gallery, the Tower Art Gallery, which is going to be hosting a Day of the Dead reception on October 29th. So the ASLC will be collaborating on that. And well, you know, the Associated Students of Laney College, you know, hasn't had a lot of participation, but right now we kind of have an open door policy with students who want to get involved. Anyone who's interested, we find a job for them, whether it's like an alternate senator or a senator. We're working on filling the positions and really delegating jobs out to everyone, making sure anyone at Laney who's interested really has a place where they could get involved and learn some leadership skills, get to know some of the wonderful administrators and teachers that are with us at that school. And yeah, so thanks for having us, and we're gonna, looking forward to, coming to more meetings.
Hello, board members. My name is Jeremy Raleigh. I'm the Vice President of Operations at College of Alameda. Let's start off with events. Today we had an excellent health fair, which brought in mental health and other health issues. Our students loved it today. It was a very good turnout. We offered snacks and stuff for the participants. For World Mental Health Day, which is this Thursday, our Gay Straight Alliance Club is sponsoring an event called Stomp Out Sigma, which is going to be from 4 to 6 in the quad. And then our Latinos Unidos, which is our Latin club, is having a Hispanic Heritage Month event on the 15th from 11 to 2. They're going to be bringing in food, dancers, and music. There's going to be a veterans luncheon in our student center from 12 to 2, I believe, on the 25th. And then also we've gotten the opportunity to participate in the West End Pumpkin Patch, which is kind of like a pumpkin patch, like maze and selling pumpkins on the 15th from 3 to 8. Also, we'll be sending 4 representatives from our campus to the SSCCC Fall General Assembly, as well as our new advisor. And the council is happy that the College of Alameda brought back the Student Grievance Committee. And that ends my report.
Good evening, everyone. It looks like they saved the best for last. My name is Tracy Christian. I'm the president of Merritt College Associated Students. I'm here to report that we did our student appreciation. We held 2 sessions, one for the morning class and one for the evening class. About 300 to 350 students attend both sessions. We look forward to going to our General Assembly. We will be sending 7 students to that, along with our advisor that's currently advising us right now. Our new advisor will take on in the next 2 weeks. We look forward to that. Also, we're working with Public Safety to host our National Shakeout, and that's October 17th. So I'm looking forward to that also. Nice to see you, Gravenberg. We're doing really good at Merritt. We have a full staffed associated student body. Everyone's new. Everyone's attending our shared governance meetings. So they're getting input from the students. The students are very excited to have an input at the meetings to voice their opinions. We're working on solutions at our school to build up our attendance with the students, to find out what's going on, let them know what services we do have to better serve the students before they transfer to another school. So we're just working with all the clubs. Our ICC is new. She's working with the clubs to let the clubs know that we're here, we have a voice, you know, we're here for any problems that we're having, and just so everybody can work together as a community. So I'm having fun this year. I hope you guys are having fun, and I'm just excited. That's all I have to report.
Thank you all very much, and congratulations to all the officers and council members of student governments, and a word of warning to President Budd that after looking at that Berkeley contingent, they look like they could take over your operation, so be on guard. Thank you. And with that, we move to reports from the Chancellor's team.
Thank you very much, President Galassa. This evening, I do not have a report other to let the board know that I've been preparing for an accreditation visit to the College of San Mateo. I am chairing a team that is scheduled to be at the college for 4 days starting on Monday, October 21st. This, of course, means that I will not be present for our next board meeting, the 22nd. And it's still to be determined who shall sit in this seat. But this evening in your consent calendar, a couple of items I want to highlight and have a brief comment from our vice chancellors. First of all, item 14 is our annual 311 report that we sent to the state is a budget reconciliation, and we've had budget presentations in the past, but if the board members have any questions about that item, we can address them at this point. And then this evening, we also are looking at item 10, which is the approval for a submission of a grant for the California Community College Online Education Initiative. This is an initiative that was identified by Governor Brown in his 2013-14 Budget Act. And I'd like Vice Chancellor Orkin to give us a brief synopsis of what that grant entails. Vice Chancellor Orkin.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, colleagues, and community. The California Community College's online education initiative, as the Chancellor indicated, came from the Governor's office, who was in the state legislature, which has provided generous funding to try to bring to fruition this idea of a California virtual campus, which people have been sort of tossing around for the last year or so. And there are really two parts to this. The first part, well, let me read from one thing. The Online Education Initiative will allow California community colleges to work together to develop a cost-effective delivery system that will create a single point of registration for online courses for the state's community college students. So the idea is to have a portal which includes a course registry that's a searchable, essentially database that allows any student at any community college in the state to register for any online course that's offered by any college in the consortium. So that's the first part of it. And then the second part of it is of this project, which is essentially at least a 2-year project, is to establish a common learning management system which all participating colleges will use, so that students will have a more seamless and transparent way to take online classes, since they won't have to go from one learning management system or platform at one college to a different one at another college. And so we're applying for this. We're wanting to apply for this grant, and as you know, we use Moodle as our learning management system, and so do a number of other community colleges in the state. And so if we are awarded this grant, we will be able to use our expertise in developing this portal using Moodle as the common learning management system. This whole initiative will allow whoever gets this grant the opportunity to network with all the other community colleges in the state and to sort of be in the driver's seat in terms of how online classes are offered. It will also afford us, or whoever gets the grant, the opportunity to work with other institutions of higher education in California, such as the CSU. So, for example, I've had conversations with President Mo Kayumi at San Jose State over the last couple of years about having some kind of partnership with online courses, and just today, because of this initiative, we sort of reinvigorated those conversations, and he sent a letter of support in which he says San Jose State is committed to working in partnership with Peralta as well as with the California Community College's Chancellor's Office and other state partners to successfully realize the goals of the initiative. And so this, not only if we get this, will give us an opportunity to use our expertise in setting up this portal for the community college system, but also to network with other educational institutions such as the CSU. Also, our local acting superintendent of schools, Gary Yee, is supporting this very strongly because he and I have had several conversations about making online educational opportunities available to OUSD students. Questions?
I have one question. So all of the community colleges would be eligible for offering courses, and then it would be an exchange where let's say I'm a student, I'll be taking a class. It could be from Yuba, it could be from who knows where. Is that the way it would work?
That is correct. And so, in fact, when State Chancellor Harris was here for our Professional Development Day a month ago, I had a conversation with him about this. There are a lot of things that we don't have the answers to yet, such as exactly how that would happen. But yes, any student at any community college would be able to take any class that's in this registry, which doesn't mean, and so it would be any class that's being offered by a participating community college. So there may be a community college, for example, that uses a different platform and doesn't want to join. And so a student who wants to take a class offered by that community college wouldn't necessarily be able to go to this website. But the general answer to your question is yes. Any community college student at any district in the system will be able to go here and take an online class offered by any other college in this consortium.
Okay, last question is, are we starting from scratch, or has there been this kind of activity already in place?
Well, that's an interesting question. We're not starting from scratch. Peralta's been offering online classes using Moodle for the last 5 years, and in fact, let's see here. I'm just going to give you. This semester, we're offering 187 online and hybrid classes, and we have a total of 4,800 students, individual students, that's a head count, taking these classes. And so one of the reasons we believe that Peralta is ideally suited for this is not only because of our demographics, but because we're a 4-college district. There aren't too many 4-college districts in the state. So we're used to the complexity of having multiple colleges participate in such activities because we do it every day with our Moodle operation. And so we would not be starting from scratch. We would be scaling up Moodle to a statewide level, which is quite doable given the way Moodle is structured.
Thank you. Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you. I think it's great if we actually got funded. I think it would really help. Just have a couple questions about how we're thinking about it. One is, are we doing comparisons in our online classes to look at retention, success, learning outcomes, and so forth, and then comparing them to the face-to-face classes. Are we already doing that so that we're setting a baseline?
Yes, we have been doing such things. We have that available through our BI tool. There's not a huge difference between the two, but that's a really good point because part of this initiative includes an institutional research component. And it's our belief that Peralta also is ideally suited to do the institutional research necessary for this. And it's exactly what you were saying, establishing a baseline, comparing online, just looking at evaluation, doing evaluations, comparing success as measured by the same metrics that SSSP is using, comparing success with online versus not online, versus face-to-face students versus hybrid students.
The approval of the courses would remain local with the local academic senates?
This whole project will be overseen by the state academic senate, and there may be an advisory committee at the state level, so it's not clear, but for starters, yes.
Okay, I guess I would be quite concerned if, in fact, the local community colleges and the local senates were to lose control over the approval of academic curriculum. So that's just red flag in my mind, and just want to flag it.
Well, that's our opinion too, by the way. We think that local community colleges should have control. There have been some documents that say that this project should be overseen by the State Chancellor's Office by basically a board of directors and by the State Academic Senate, but that does not mean necessarily that they will have control, but I agree.
Yeah. Last question I had has to do with the development and the sort of the rollout of it and how well we anticipate involving faculty in that process. It's one thing to sort of conceptualize an online class and the technical components of it, and then when you actually really go to do it, sometimes the tool don't work that well. Moodle has some real advantages, and I'm discovering as I'm building out my course shells in our version of Moodle down at De Anta that it has some real shortcomings. I'm wondering to what extent, as we look at the rollout, we've got a faculty advisory body or participation body?
Well, we have the State Academic Senate, and we also have, part of our proposal involves online training and workshops, and as you probably know, Merritt College has a certificate in online teaching, which faculty members at Peralta are supposed to take, that or the equivalent, before they teach an online class here. And so part of our proposal involves a similar type of training that would be necessary in order, would somehow be built into online classes being offered by this project.
I'm thinking about it in terms of just like, so the administration of it, how it would roll out, et cetera, making sure that as it gets rolled out, there's real hands-on participation among the faculty who are actually teaching the classes so that they look at it and say, that's a great idea, here's another great idea, and that one isn't going to work at all. Just that kind of very hands-on practical stuff. I'm sure you're going to figure it out, and just was a question, is it built into our proposal that there be faculty participation in that process?
Well, first of all, the initiative itself includes just basically setting up a structure, an infrastructure for doing this. The faculty participation will come at the college levels. Of course, my partner in developing this is a faculty member, Dr. Fabian Banga, and he's keenly aware of, and is in fact always hounding me and others that faculty have to learn how to use the tool before they should be allowed to teach an online class. So we see that as an essential part of this.
So absolutely, faculty need to know how to use the tool as they roll it out, and what I'm suggesting is actually then the reverse, that the administration of it should necessarily involve faculty members as the administration gets, as the tool itself gets developed. So I hear so that the accountability goes both ways, that the learning goes both ways. That's all. Thank you.
Right, good.
Thank you. Any
Mr.
other
President?
questions?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just a brief question. We used to have, and I assume we still have, a pretty extensive online program through the International Department, if you will, with students in South Korea? Will they participate in this program?
Any community college, any student who's signed up, is registered at a community college in California, that's supposed to be the population of students who will be able to participate. So it can be a non-resident student, it can be an international student. We have about 800 international students here this semester, and so any international student that's attending a California community college or who wants to attend, so someone in South Korea could sign up for one of these courses, certainly. Then they would do it by registering at whatever community college was offering that course.
Okay. Would Peralta be the host, or are they on their own in going to
No,
these individual
Peralta would only be the host of the infrastructure,
Okay.
not of the courses themselves.
Okay.
So the courses themselves would be offered by various colleges in our system.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. Chancellor, or other reports?
That's the end of our report this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we move to reports from boards of trustees. And let's start with our trustee Withrow.
Just briefly, Mr. President, I'd like to just make a few comments of au revoir to our Chief Financial Officer and Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administration. By virtue of my background, I've lived the life of in and out of financial areas for more years than I'd like to relate to. And for a number of years was the chair of the Finance Committee that we had that where we looked at, among other things, the external audit. And I'm not sure how many people really recognize the state of disarray that this complete institution, the four colleges and the district, was in from the standpoint of finances. I've never seen anything like it. The external audit opinions were qualified with very, very serious set of conditions. The budget was neither understandable nor was there any confidence in the budget. There wasn't confidence, quite frankly, in any element of the finance department. And since our Vice Chancellor Gerhard has come into the operation, it's completely turned around. And we not only have a budget that is understandable, that's transparent, but the people in our family, if you will, of the institution have confidence in it. The last external audit that we received in the financial area, was totally devoid of any issues. It was not only not an unqualified opinion, there were no issues. Absolutely a white piece of paper. And so from the standpoint of Community College of San Francisco, they're very fortunate, extremely fortunate, to get someone of the talent and the intellect and the focus and drive of Ron Gerhard. I think all of us feel a sense of a good feeling when members of our family are successful. And even though it's going to leave a significant hole in this operation for a short period of time, from the standpoint of the community colleges, the system throughout the state of California, we're definitely going to benefit. So as a Navy guy, I'd like to bid you in all of your future endeavors fair winds and a following sea. And unfortunately, I think you're going to need it.
Thank you. Trustee
Hi, good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for colleges, the Lenny College, Berkeley City College, College of Alameda, and Mary College, because they always provide a very good resource to the student. And from this month, the CSU and the UC application, they're going to open for the student who want to transfer. So I went to a couple different transfer personal statement workshop. It's very helpful. And I really appreciate all four colleges. They do a great job for the student, and I'm looking forward some students can carry some very positive energy and to build up the Palo Community College brain to be wider and more international. And also, I'm sorry I'm a little late for this meeting today, and because I went to the Cisco second interview. I'm so happy I can be the first student from the community college to get the investor analyze and relationship position for the, and because they review my resume, and I'm thank you for everyone, and also I thank you for the chancellor and the vice chancellor Adela, and because they motivate me to do something is not just focus on the school, and also to carry what I learned about the leadership, and apply what I learned from the school, and to compare together to make me to be look different in some cooperation. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you. I'd like to echo the thoughts of Trustee Withrow about our CFO. Amazing work, and it's really laid a nice foundation. So thank you very much, and I personally wish you the best of luck. Look forward to an ongoing and continuing relationship. I also want to note that success from a CFO or from a chancellor happens because it's part of a team. And I, for one, tonight am feeling enormously grateful for the Peralta team, the team that the chancellor and the board have put together, the team of the board itself, under the leadership of the board executive officers. But I also note that the PFT recently approved the contract that was negotiated. And with a 3% increase, it's not enough at all. With even a 1% bonus on top of that, it's not enough. But it is a substantial raise, and the first in many years. And so I'm grateful for the faculty. I'm also enormously grateful for the public that supported a bond measure or a parcel tax for a number of years, and then supported a tax increase on the wealthiest families in this state who are doing quite well, and then a small sales tax increase. I think we look at that and just, I don't know, I'm grateful. And then the students who came tonight from the student governments, and particularly from Berkeley City College, my hometown, I think what we see is the results of a really well-functioning district. And so I feel very satisfied tonight with where we are. Not satisfied enough. I'll keep working pretty hard, and I think all of us do work pretty hard. But a lot of times we hear sort of stuff isn't working. And I think right now we can say, no, stuff is working. It's not perfect, but it's working really well. And so thank you for your part in that.
Thank you. Trustee Guillen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, I wanted to invite everyone to this workshop that's happening at Berkeley City College. I think it's happening tomorrow, Video Games for Mathematics. And it caught my attention because it's titled, Not on the Test, The Pleasures and Uses of Mathematics. It's a lecture with Kevin Delvin, a Stanford University teacher, professor with Inner Tube Games. It's happening at Berkeley City College tomorrow from 7 to 9. And it sounded interesting, and I just wanted to make sure the public knows about that. I also wanted to take the opportunity to, for those folks out there in the community that have benefited from the Peralta Colleges somewhere along the way, I know in the last 8 years that I've been on the board, I've run into several of our alums that said, if it wasn't for Peralta, I would have been doing X, Y, and Z. Or if it wasn't for Peralta, I would have never opened up my own business, or whatever the story is. I even had someone recently tell me that they became a orthopedic surgeon because they found their way at the Peralta colleges because of the classes that they had at Laney. So I want to just remind everyone that has benefited from the Peralta colleges, especially our alums, that the foundation is looking for scholarship support for our November 21st foundation dinner honoring Joe Morgan. It's very important because we want to make sure that the students that are coming to Peralta now and will benefit, we will have the opportunity to make sure that they don't have to take out all the loans and that they need to, or figure out how to pay for their books and everything else, that the foundation helps our students make sure that they succeed. So want to put a plug out there. And I want to encourage all the trustees also to please make a personal commitment to figure out what you can raise from your friends and from your community and family members to support the Peralta colleges. I know we already do a lot, but I think it's a great opportunity to really showcase how we transform lives here at Peralta. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Trustee Handy?
And on that note, just want to remind employees, you can also have a payroll deduction, even a small amount monthly. I think I've had a small amount coming out for 11 years, but that helps to send one student to the Congressional Black Caucus, at least airfare. But a very small amount that you won't feel monthly really goes a long way in supporting our students. I also want to encourage all of you to think about becoming readers for the Peralta Foundation. I did it last year, and it's something that can be done. You can come in and read the documents, but I ended up being ill, so I read the documents in my bed and then did a conference call with the other members of the foundation as we read it. It gives you an opportunity to really understand some of the hardships that our students have gone through just to come here and be educated. So again, all of you, just if you can find a little bit of time, and don't think it takes somebody special to be a reader. All it takes is someone who has a heart, who really wants to know a little bit more about the students, and your ideas will be appreciated as we determine which students will get scholarships. So I just want to encourage you to do that. I missed the last meeting because I wasn't well, but I just returned from the Congressional Black Caucus, and maybe you can just say the students wore me out. People think when they hear conferences, they think, oh yeah, you're going to have a great time. Let's try up every morning at 6:30. I think Trustee Clegg and I came in at dark 30 in the morning on a red eye, and the first text that I had was the students' rooms had been sold. The students had arrived a couple hours before me, and it went on from there. But every morning, we were setting our alarms at 6 a.m., and we were up, and we were visiting Congress, and the students were doing tours they were actually watching Congress from the gallery. They actually had an opportunity to attend a constituents breakfast with Barbara Lee, where she introduced them to many of the fellow congresspersons, including Nancy Pelosi, who came in to greet our students and the other California constituents. Our students had a phenomenal time. It was a very, very great group of students. We do this on bare bones money. It's all on donations. We put 4 students in a room, and we encourage them to eat very heavily at their hotel because it's going to be a long day. But the best thing for me is that on the first day we lost a student. We were there listening to a live broadcast of Reverend Al Sharpton, and we couldn't find one of our students. 2 students went back to the hotel looking for him. Well, it turned out he had walked by a session. He was so intrigued by it, he sat down, and he stayed there until like 7 p.m. That is what we like to hear. That's what we like to see. I also just returned from the American Association of Community College Trustees Leadership Conference in Seattle, myself and Trustee Riley and Trustee Galassa. And it was really hard to trade our beautiful weather here for the 50-degree weather in Seattle. But it was amazing to see thousands and thousands of trustees from all across the country. And just some of the sessions that I found to be especially intriguing was one was transforming communities with good jobs for at-risk youth, a partnership with unions, colleges, and CBOs. To see what other colleges are doing in terms of collaborations, creating apprenticeships, And then those students from those apprenticeships actually working on the construction that's taking place on the college. And these students that are taking advantage of these apprenticeships and are getting these good jobs were previously incarcerated. They even have a tattoo removal machine as part of their Schools with Communities and Schools program. It was amazing, and the people who presented on there they're willing to share all of their information with us if we want to try to take on a venture like that. We also had sessions such as keeping in touch, an evaluation of a contract model approach to improving retention, where Westchester County, New York, talked in depth about how they have improved the retention of their males of color. And the great part about it, our panelists may be 4 or 5 people, but they're willing to be in touch with our colleges to show us what they've done, how they did it, how they made things successful. And you think in terms of, oh, we're here in California, well, as Trustee Galassa sat next to a trustee who his day job was a hog farmer. I mean, we have rural communities, people are in colleges all over the world.
I was going to talk about the hog farm. Now you ruined everything.
I'm sure he'll have a lot more details. I said, we learn a lot. We're not all the same. And then a very important piece, and I'm sorry, Dr. Webb was there as well, and I don't know if she had an opportunity to attend it, but it was linking historically black colleges and universities with community colleges. And I learned that the Links organization, which we have here, is very instrumental in moving our students straight from community college right into these historical black colleges and are willing to share the information. So again, that's what I did with my day off, and each day started with a 6 a.m. wake-up call. I was so glad to come home so I could get some rest. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm reporting on the trip to the Congressional Black Caucus. It was very amazing, very informative. It gave the students a lot of, they said, hope, encouragement, and they were just so overwhelmed and happy that they were the ones that were chosen to go. We will have a presentation for the board in the next, hopefully at the next board meeting. We're working on a presentation, so you will get a presentation from the students that did attend those conferences. There were many subjects on staying in school, how to work against violence, how to deal with violence. A lot of them got a chance to meet Al Sharpton and Donna Bell, and they were just really glad to be there. And some even got to go to the dinner where the president spoke, and that was very encouraging for them. So we do thank all of the presidents that they will allow and continue to allow their students to be a part of that, because it's very important. Also, I want to talk about and give kudos to David Jones and Cynthia for being one of the Laney Culinary Arts students on the national stage. I think that was a great highlight for Laney. And thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Now, Trustee Brown.
Thank you, President Galassa. I'd just like to remind everyone that on the 9th, tomorrow, we have the Trial of the Century debate, and that's showcasing Alameda County historical justice issues with John Burris, Jim Brosnahan, Howard Moore. We'll have the screening of the documentary film on the Huey P. Newton trial will occur there. And I'd like to make a special thanks to Dr. Elnora Webb. Laney College is hosting this event, and it'll be an amazing demonstration of how Alameda County was in the forefront of changing the American judicial system to have a greater consideration of race and politics in jury selection, as well as the impact of having one of the first African-American jury foremen in a capital murder case, which was Huey P. Newton's trial. And the Angela Davis and O.J. Simpson trial will be compared and debated as well. So if everyone can, and I'd also like to say we had an amazing support from the communications department, from Jeff Heyman and publicity. And so I know that there's another event. We have such an exciting college or district here with something going on in Berkeley and something going on at Lady at the same time. It's like Lucy and Ethel both wearing the same dress. But go to either one of them. Please make sure that it begins at 6:30 at Lady and will be over at 8. And so please come on down and enjoy one of these amazing events.
Thank you. I'd like to make just a couple of quick comments. One of them at the conference, which was just alluded to, the ACCT, Association of Community College Trustees. We had an opportunity to hear about a 40-minute discussion of community colleges from Bill Gates. It was an astonishing performance, at least in terms of the people present. I've never seen so many people in one room. There were about 2,000, well over 2,000 people. And what was interesting about Mr. Gates, he's not going to tell us much more than we already know about ourselves, but what was quite remarkable is how much he knew about us. In other words, he's just not out there, just somebody who is is trying to play the great prophet and the great seer of community colleges. He understands everything that we are about, and that was quite remarkable. But when he got into the question and answer period, which was very revealing, they began to move in, and what exactly do you see? What's the future of community colleges? And I will tell you, he definitely, you know, what he does for a living and what he did for a living, and what I understand he's going to be once again doing for a living is everything digital. And of course, he is a big, enthusiastic supporter of this move toward greater offering of courses online. He would champion this new program Dr. Orkin was talking about for a moment. And he even went so far as to talk about classrooms in the future where you would have lectures distilled to perfection so that one individual with a great skill in delivering lectures could actually make a presentation, and the class would then engage with the comments of that individual, although that individual may not be accessible there, but that this would be a new way to disseminate, if you want to call it, a core issues concerning different disciplines. So that's the message coming from. It was quite kind of inspiring. He's walks out, he's got his shirt sleeves rolled up, he doesn't have a tie, he just leans against the podium and starts telling us who we are, what we have been doing, and what we're going to be doing. So that was in itself well worth, in inspiration terms, the trip. The other thing is about the hog farmer. I mean, you sit next to somebody and you say, you know, expecting, hey, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a student, I'm a whatever. And hi, yeah, and so what do you, I'm from DeKalb, Illinois. I'm a hog farmer. We slaughter 20,000 hogs a year. You know, it's kind of like, well, I'm glad I'm eating beef right now as you go into the details here. But what was fascinating to me is we were at the same time talking about the culture of evidence, how the community colleges are moving more and more towards a factual understanding as close as possible without destroying the spirit of education, getting to the factual, hardcore aspects of education. And he said, let me give you an example. Go ahead. He says, I have 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans. And he says, I have no employees to harvest my crop. The combines or whatever you use to harvest, they're all controlled by GPS. And he says, I sit in my office at my computer and I watch the pattern of the machine right there on my screen. And that he says, every 3 seconds, there's a report from the harvester telling you what the moisture of the beans are and that little square and the weight of the beans. So you know it subtracts the moisture so you don't get confused by, you know, being drunk on water or something or other. It gives you an accurate production. And then he says, when it's all finished, I have a grid that tells me however small I want to make the grid, tells me exactly what the production is of that particular square. And he says, then I compare it with all the other sections that I'm experimenting with, a new type of seed, et cetera, and I can see what's happening. I have control, and it's a closed loop. The manure from the pigs goes on my 2,000 acres, And the acres produce 5 bushels of corn for each hog. He told me how much each hog weighs and how much the corn weighs, and I thought, well, there's something that's going on here. It's pretty good, because the corn weighs as much as the hog at the end of 250. But at any rate, that's a culture of evidence. And then this was all triggered by a meeting we had, a conference, workshop, that dealt with how the culture of evidence and this new tool they call a dashboard with 1,000 gauges, and you can look at each one of the gauges. It tells you how you're doing with student transfers. It tells you how persistence is going, et cetera. And there's probably maybe 50 or 60 indicators that are being used at the same time. And they're all designed by faculty and the management working together. This is not a trustee operation, but the trustees get to see the whole thing. So I thought I would throw that out. It's a little lesson of how a particular discipline can take amazing advantage of science. And there is a lesson for us, although I better stop the analogies. They can get out of the way when we start talking about students versus hogs and so on. So I'll end it there. It was truly inspirational. Thank you for...
Mr. President, I did have a question for you. Did you bring back any bacon?
No, I didn't, but I did ask him what happens to the bacon, and he said it's right here in San Francisco. He says, if you see a product called Fork in the Road, he says, those are my hogs. So there you go. That's the best I could do. And now on to other matters. With all of this, Dr. Van Putten, it is your opportunity to talk about what's happening with the District Senate. Thank you.
Mr. President, can I say one more thing?
Yes, Trustee Wiley asked me for permission to add something to her presentation, so please.
Yes, I forgot to say one thing is a really thank you to Lenny College. We have an APES program. And because this program, and also I joined the GEO program, for the student, they are not born from the America, they speak the second different language. And I think sometimes I talk about how to get a job, and I went to this program, the workshop. They really tell us how to do the interview. It's very important. And they help me to how to jump out of the box. And I just want to thank you, Lenny APES program, and thank you everything. And also thank you the General Counsel. And why I thank you this, because honestly my GPA is not very high, it's just 3 point something, it's not 4.0. I know there's a lot of students in this community college, they have 4.0, and I think they do bring me some mental inspiration that help me to be more confident and how to prepare to talk to different people, and that's very great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Putten.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, trustees, Chancellor, district administrations and staff, college presidents, colleagues, and members of the public. In tonight's report, I'll provide a brief update on what the District Academic Senate has been doing lately and some external reminders of the increasing importance of student learning outcomes and assessment. With respect to the District Academic Senate doings, 2 of our long-term faculty curriculum specialists, Professors Amy Bojorquez, Laney, Biology, and Jane Matthews, BCC, Business, are completing and continuing work on clarifying procedures for curriculum approvals at each of the 4 colleges. They took on these responsibilities so that all of our shared curriculum can be managed effectively and efficiently, eliminating several long-standing issues that affect how the district-wide Council on Instruction, Planning, and Development, referred to as CIPD, does its work. Professors Bojorquez and Matthews presented a major portion of the results of their work to the DAS at its October 1st meeting, and both are to be commended for doing an excellent job of organizing and refining ways to correct some of our less than helpful habits over the past 6 to 10 years. In consultation with the Chancellor, the District Senate has been actively reviewing and proposing changes to existing board policy and administrative procedures that will address faculty concerns about academic senate participation in local decision-making. We expect that you will see those changes after they are finalized with the Chancellor as soon as we can arrange a meeting for that purpose. Associate Vice Chancellor Esquivel Swenson has been keeping the DAS apprised of the district's progress in establishing a new group to monitor and recommend procedures that will help the colleges fulfill the new mandate for supporting student success. Some faculty members are eager to adhere to some of the recommendations that emerged from the RPG report, Student Support Redefined, which I have reported to you on previously, specifically providing discipline-specific guidance and advising as part of class structures. Working collaboratively with what is now called the Triple SP Group, we hope to make progress on that intention this academic year. District IT Project Manager Aisha Lorraine Williams keeps us informed about the progress of the PeopleSoft Financial Aid Module implementation and has been consulting effectively with Peralta counseling faculty to ensure that the capabilities of the new module will meet the needs of our counseling staff in their work with students. The District Academic Senate has begun discussions with the Peralta Federation of Teachers on possible revisions to the faculty evaluation process and its content, considering including, for example, faculty involvement in student learning outcomes and assessment, and a way of addressing the value of our contributions to the colleges outside the classroom, especially in shared governance participation. Speaking of student learning outcomes assessment, the ACCJC reprinted in its summer newsletter a joint statement of the higher education associations entitled Principles of Effective Student Achievement, which, among other things, identifies 3 kinds of success outcomes, learning and achievement, that colleges need to measure, those being 1, student learning experience, how students are learning and the kinds of educational experiences students have both in and outside the classroom. 2, student academic performance, evaluation of curricular goals, effective grading, and external benchmarking. And 3, post-graduation outcomes, evaluation of how colleges prepare students for later success in life, such as civic participation, job placement, and further education. According to Dr. Bob Pacheco of the RP Group, quote, this statement is endorsed by all 7 of the regional accrediting agencies, as well as higher ed organizations, including the American Association of Community Colleges, the American Association of State Colleges and Universities, and the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. These are indicators that the Peralta colleges should be addressing at all levels while preparing our self-evaluation reports for the upcoming reaccreditation reviews in 2015. There is much more that will be said about this in future reports from the DAS. That concludes my report for tonight. Thank you for receiving and making use of it.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that concludes the main agenda for this evening. And we move to, are there any?
I move approval, Mr. President, to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Sorry. Is there a move? Second?
Second, Jim.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Nays? Motion carries unanimously. And that official act concludes our agenda for this evening. Are there any?
Just have a few announcements, Mr. President. The next regular board meeting will be held on October 22nd here at the district office at 333 East 8th Street in Oakland. And wanted to remind folks that the board is also planning a special workshop session. I think the latest iteration is November 12th. So that's at a location to be determined. Mr. President, I think that concludes the announcements for this evening.
Thank you. Is there a move to adjourn?
Move adjournment.
The meeting is adjourned.